What's up, everybody? Welcome to Dan Bullman Photography. This week we're going to be talking about the plastic, fantastic Holga 120S. So many of you may already know the backstory about the Holga and the whole cult movement, sort of, or underground popularity of the Holga camera in photography circles. But if you're not familiar, just to give you a little bit of a background, the Holga 120 is a totally plastic toy camera. It's a medium format camera, shoots 120 film, and it was manufactured in Hong Kong up until actually early 2016. Recently they discontinued manufacturing of the Holga cameras, and that was something that was a real bummer for a lot of people, myself included. But, you know, there are a ton of these out on the market, so if you're looking to pick one up, you know, don't worry about it being discontinued. There are tons of them out there. So basically, to give you an overview of the camera, like I said, it's a toy camera, and it is very poorly built. I mean, there's a wild variance in the quality that you're going to get from one Holga camera to the next, or even one roll of film to the next. And it's a camera that allows you very little control over aperture, shutter speed, pretty much nothing. No control you get over that. So why would you want to shoot a camera like the Holga? You're going to get some very interesting images, and that's pretty much the biggest reason to get one. And also, it's just a lot of fun to experiment with a camera that's very unpredictable in terms of results and quality. And because you don't have control over the exposure settings, you really learn to let go and just work on things like composition or looking for interesting scenes. You're not spending time fiddling around with the camera, and that frees you up to do some more interesting things. So today what I want to do is just give you a basic overview of this camera, show you some of the pieces and controls of the camera, and then I'll show you some of the example photos that I took to give you a sense of what this camera can do and why it might be something worth picking up. Alright, so we're going to take a look at the Holga 120 and, you know, show you some of the basic controls and features on here, and they are very basic. There's not very much that you can control on this camera. So starting with the top of the camera, there is a hot shoe that you can put a flash on, and I'll demonstrate that to you in a little bit. This right here is the frame advance. So it's a manual crank, so you have to watch through the hole on the back of the camera to get a sense of when you've advanced it to the next frame. Now, 120 film is usually numbered on the back so that you can see through this window to see what frame you're on and when you've actually hit the next frame, but you have to advance this manually. The shutter is right here on the side of the camera next to the lens. And one of the cool things about the shutter and the manual frame advance is that you can do multiple exposures with this camera. There's nothing to block you from taking multiple images on the same frame. So if you want to do some cool double exposure photography, this camera can do that without any difficulty. On the lens itself, there are several focusing distances. There's single person for portrait, multiple people for family portrait, I guess, and then bigger group, and then mountain, which is infinity. Now, the focal length of the lens is 60 millimeters, and it says it has an f8 aperture. And the way you adjust the aperture, there are two settings. It's kind of hard to see. That is sunny, and then there's another one for cloudy or rainy. So if you are on a cloudy day or there's a little bit lower light, you want to switch to the cloudy setting. Otherwise, keep it on sunny if you're just outside shooting during a normal settings. Now, to load film into the camera, you have to pull these sort of metal pins on the side, and they have these little latches here that you can just take right off of the camera. I definitely advise keeping those in your pocket because it can be very easy to lose them if you're not paying attention. So this just comes out right off the back, and you should have a take-up spool in the camera when you buy it. I actually bought this, when I bought this camera off of eBay, it came without a take-up spool, which was very frustrating. I had to go out and buy one. But, you know, that happens. All right, the new Holga 120, just got this on eBay. Let's take a look inside. What? There's no goddamn take-up spool. And basically, you should put your take-up spool on this side of the camera, and it's a little janky because you can see the, well, maybe you can't see in there very well, but there is notches on the dial, and you have to sort of get it in there just right to set it up. Now this actually has, and I don't know if this comes standard, but this came on the one that I have. There is a mask that you can put on it if you want to shoot a 6x4.5 centimeter frame. Otherwise, you can take this window off and you'll get the standard 6x6 medium format frame. All the images I'm going to show you in this video I shot with the mask on, 6x4.5. I wanted to do 6x6, but I forgot to take it out of the camera, so you'll have that, I guess. Let's see, what else is there? So you can see the viewfinder is just a little window on the side. I wouldn't exactly call this a rangefinder because you don't really focus or anything through the viewfinder. It's literally just a hole through the camera, and you can see the viewing on the front. You can just see it's literally just a hole through the camera. That so you're not going to get exactly the framing correct just by looking through the viewfinder. There's really no way to do it on this camera. You just point it and shoot and hope for the best. So now I just wanted to demonstrate to you using a flash on the top of your Holga 120 camera. Now, you can see, can't really get it all into the frame, but there is my Yongnuo speed light right on top of the Holga camera. And when I press the shutter, it fires off the flash. Now, one of the things I've noticed is because the camera is totally plastic, this speed light really counterbalances the whole thing, and it's much heavier than the camera, so it's actually kind of hard to balance a speed light on top of the Holga. So it's not something I would necessarily recommend unless you really needed a flash on there for whatever reason. Maybe you're shooting at night or something. Also, one of the things to note is you really want to make sure you lock this down very tightly. The hot shoe is not, I mean, it's a standard hot shoe, but obviously the construction isn't the best. So this, my speed light, I noticed was a little loose when I was trying to put it on here the first couple of times, and I really had to lock it down really tight to make sure that contact stayed close, because it was literally just firing off my flash over and over again because the contact was jiggling on top of the camera, which is not something you want to have. Alright, so now I'm going to show you how to load some film into your Holga 120 camera. Now today I have some Lomachrome XR 100 to 400 purple film. This is a fake color infrared film, and you'll be seeing some more of this when I show you my video from the photos I took at the Boston Marathon where I was using this film. So first, obviously, going to want to open up your film pack, or your plastic, or whatever the hell you want to call it. Alright, so like I said earlier, to open up the back of the camera, you take these pins off of the side, and maybe you want to put them in your pocket instead of just tossing them down. And we'll take our film, and let's see, we're just going to peel this off to reveal the backing paper. And of course it's black packing paper, so it's kind of hard to see, but we're just gonna load this up into the camera. There we go. I'm gonna pull this across your frame. And again, not super easy to see, but there's a notch. Let's see if I can get this in better light. There's a notch in the take-up spool, and you want to put this piece of paper up into the notch. Like so. And then you're just going to, and I would recommend holding the paper onto the take-up spool a little bit, you're just going to turn the crank and keep your paper going, and I would go until the start lines are in the middle. And what we're going to do is take the back and just put it back onto the camera, which is easier said than done because this is kind of janky. So once you got that tight on your camera, I'll take these janky pins and just slide them right back on. Now there's a notch right here on the pin, and it should sort of overlap with the notch on the side of the camera. This will hold it in place, kind of. Like I said, this isn't the best constructed camera in the world, but that's not why we get it anyway. So put those on there. Those will be fairly secure. Now it's kind of hard to see, but there are two numbers here on the side near the frame window. You have 16 and you have 12. Now whichever number the slider is pointing to is how many frames you will get on your roll of film. So we have it set to 12, so we're going to get 12 shots full frame right on the film, and that's standard for a 120 millimeter. So yeah, that's pretty much all it is. You take it in, you load it, you press the shutter, advance the film crank until you see the next numbered frame come through the window, and you're ready to go. And you'll be shooting with your Holga 120. So is the Holga 120 a camera that you are interested in buying? And what would I recommend paying for it? I wouldn't recommend paying more than $30 for this camera. I bought mine on eBay, including shipping, for $30, and I think that's a pretty fair price for it. Now you can probably find a little bit of a better deal if you're shopping around for them, but the prices did skyrocket a little bit. Not really skyrocketing, but they did go up since the company that manufactures these discontinued them. So people are looking to pay a little bit more for them now, but I bought mine after the announcement, like right after the announcement, and I was still able to get one for about 30 bucks, and I think that's the going rate for them. Some people want to charge more because they kind of become like a collectible piece or something along those lines, but again, this is a plastic camera. You're not going to get great images out of it. It's just something fun to play around with more than anything, so you can put a value on that if you want. Alright, so let me know down in the comments what you think about the Holga 120. I'm interested to hear what other people are thinking with this camera, if you've shot with it before, or if you're planning on going and picking one up. Let me know what you think. If you like these videos, please subscribe to my channel by clicking on the red box on the screen, or by clicking on the subscribe link right below my icon. and we've got new content coming out every Wednesday, and so you can look forward to more of that. Now, I'm also getting more active on social media accounts, particularly Snapchat. I'm putting out educational tips and behind the scenes stuff and just general stuff from my day, mostly related to photography. So if you're on Snapchat and you're interested in seeing some of that, I recommend